All right, we're going to dive into this really old African fable. Now, at first glance, you might think, ugh, it's just a kid's story. But trust me, if you look a little closer, you'll see it's actually a masterclass in strategy, conflict, and believe it or not, the incredible power of just being patient. So, this whole story kind of boils down to one big question, a question it answers in a really cool way. Think about it. When things get tough and everyone's fighting for the same thing, what's the best way to win? Is it just being the strongest, or maybe the smartest, the one who works the hardest? Or is there another way? Just keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this. Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, we've got to set the scene. Picture this. We're on the golden savannas of ancient Africa. It's beautiful, for sure, but it's also a really tough place to survive. It's the perfect setup, really, for some serious drama. And here's the root of the problem: scarcity. The rain's just stopped, the rivers are drying up, and food is getting super hard to find. You know, when it's literally about survival, people's, or in this case, animals', true colors really start to show. This isn't some friendly competition. This is life or death. So, in this pressure cooker of an environment, we see three totally different ways of handling things. And they're perfectly embodied by our three main characters. You've got the worker, the bully, and, well, the opportunist. Let's get to know them. So here's how it all plays out. First up is Kino the fox. He's our worker bee, right? He's out there all day, digging, sniffing, doing the hard yards to find little bits of food. It's a tough way to make a living. Then you've got Maro the hyena, our aggressor. His strategy is, let's just say, a lot simpler. He just waits for the fox to find something and then uses brute force to take it. And then there's Luma the pig. She's kind of interesting. She's not brave enough to fight, and honestly, she's too lazy to work. So what does she do? She takes a totally different approach. She just waits, and she watches. And this whole thing between the fox and the hyena, it's not just a one-off. Nope. It becomes this predictable, draining, and totally pointless cycle. They're just stuck in this loop, wasting all their energy fighting each other. Let me break down the cycle for you. It goes like this. Step 1, Kano the fox finds some food. Awesome. But then, step 2, Maro the hyena shows up to steal it. That leads to step 3. They get into this huge fight, tumbling around, wasting precious energy, and totally focused on beating each other. But here's the kicker. While all that's going on, step 4 happens. Luma the pig just quietly comes over and eats all the little pieces of food that fall during the fight. See, the worker and the aggressor are so obsessed with their rivalry, they have no clue who's actually coming out on top. But this whole routine, this cycle of fighting over scraps, it's about to get a major shakeup. Because what happens when the prize isn't just scraps? What if it's something huge, something neither of them is willing to lose? One day, Kano gets lucky. He doesn't just find a few roots or a tiny lizard. No, he catches a big, fat guinea fowl. We're talking about a feast. For both Kano and Maro, this is it. This is the jackpot. The stakes are suddenly sky high, and this one catch is about to change the entire game. So, Kano's just about to dig in to enjoy this amazing meal he worked so hard for, and then, whoosh! Out of nowhere, Maro the hyena bursts out of the tall grass. This is it, the big one. The final showdown is on. And this fight is just epic. It's the climax of their whole rivalry. They're so consumed by it, so blinded by wanting to win, that they completely forget about the guinea fowl. At this point, the prize isn't the food anymore. It's just beating the other guy. And that obsession, well, it creates a massive blind spot. Okay, so while all this chaos is going down, all the growling and the dust flying, something else is happening. Something quiet, something methodical. The real winner of this whole thing is about to make their move, and I guarantee it's not who you are expecting. So imagine it. The fox and the hyena are locked in this brutal fight. All you can hear is snapping and growling. But then, over all that noise, there's another sound. A quiet, almost gentle snuffling from the side. And, you guessed it, it's Luma the pig. While those two were busy trying to destroy each other, she just casually strolled over and ate the entire guinea fowl. And what she says next is just perfect. It sums up the whole story. She tells them, you two are clever, but I am more clever and patient. See, Kano was the worker, Maro was the fighter, but Luma, she was smart enough to be patient. She played a completely different game and won. So what's the big takeaway here? The most important thing to realize is that this isn't really a story about animals on the savannah. It's a really powerful lesson about strategy, about competition, and about the massive advantage you can get just by being the one who sits back and observes. And here's the moral of the story, plain and simple. Those who fight over greed often end up feeding the patient bystander. I mean, think about it. When two competitors get so wrapped up in their own little war that they can't see anything else, they basically just leave the door wide open for someone else, that patient observer, to walk right in and take everything without any of the fighting or the risk. And this isn't just some ancient fable, right? This dynamic plays out all the time, everywhere you look. Think about the business world. You've got two huge companies in a brutal price war, so focused on each other, they don't even see the tiny startup that comes and completely changes the game. Or in politics, two parties just spend all their time attacking each other, and suddenly a third-party candidate starts gaining real traction because people are tired of the fighting. It even happens at work, right? You've got two coworkers who are super competitive, always trying to one-up each other for a promotion. And who gets it in the end? Often it's the quiet one who just did great work and stayed out of the drama. So I'll leave you with this final thought, a question to chew on. Take a look around you, at your job, in your industry, maybe even in your own life. Can you spot the fox and the hyena? The ones who are locked in that loud, messy, and ultimately wasteful fight? And once you've found them, ask yourself a more important question. Who's the pink pig? Who's the quiet, patient one just waiting for their moment? The answer? Well, it might just be the most important thing you figure out.